Hello. What about the role of Stan Hurley appealed to you? Did you see a challenge in the role?
Well, yeah, I have never played that type of person. I guess I played a version of him a couple of times. I must have. I can't remember. So anytime I'm interested in staying. I'm interested in staying interested. So, so when someone brings up this movie and I read it, and I thought, oh, this is pretty good. Even though we worked on rewriting the script a bit, which is very common, I thought it was basically good. And I had never been in this genre, which is, I would say, an action movie more than anything.
Sure. Is Stan a good guy or a bad guy? It's kind of very ambiguous because he teaches people to kill, obviously.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. Well, I think there are some good people who happen to have that horrible job, and doesn't mean they're bad people. I think he's a human being, so he's got his good sides and he's got his bad sides. I wouldn't want to be on his bad side. And, I think Stan is about taking care of business, or business, as they say.
How much combat training did you have to do for the role, and what was the most intense bit of preparation that you had to do?
Well, we had these scenes pretty well choreographed. First of all, I stayed in relatively, good condition, and then I was really not run down, but I was pretty tired because I was doing one movie after another, and also promoting that movie, all these movies, and then fortunately I was in a couple that were in award season, so I was pretty filled, doing all the interviews and all the publicity and doing all that stuff. So when this came up, I thought, man, I need to really quickly, and I was working on Spider-Man at the time, so I had to jam in some, I'd get in better shape than I actually was very quickly. And I never got to the degree that Taylor and Dylan did, because they probably had more time, and also they're like 9 years old. So we choreographed a lot of that. In fact, I choreographed some of it with the stunt guys in Spider-Man. They would send the stunt guys from this movie would send me videos, and then I'd look at it on my phone, and then in between shots in Spider-Man, I'd start to work on them, so that when I showed up for the movie, I was pretty prepared.
Okay. The theme of terrorism, seems terribly prescient right now. Were there ever any worries about using something that serious as a form of entertainment?
If you really look back, truthfully, there are versions of what we'll call terrorism, in really, or just big international movies with bad things happening in the world going way back. Now, I would say it's much, much more intense right now. And when we shot this movie, it was intense, and it's going to be intense, and that's the sad part of all this. But there wasn't any concern about it. That's what's going on in the world. This happens to be an action story that takes place in the world we live in, and that's kind of too bad, but that's the truth. And in fact, I think this movie is maybe a tad more intelligent in most in how it dealt with that. We avoided most, if not every, cliché, in terms of how we depicted the people and ethnic groups and situations. It's complicated. There's a lot of gray areas in this movie.